Hey guys. All right, so I'm going to give everybody a few moments to get on and then we're going to get started. All right, guys, so as you're coming in, let me know if you're able to see the screen. Hey, hey, hey. All right. So, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the All the Way Live Challenge. This month, we're going to learn how to use live to attract more customers, build your brand, and make more sales for your business. And for you guys who've been with me in the challenge before, you're going to notice that this challenge is going to be a little bit different. And it's simply because sometimes we get so bogged down in trying to learn the latest and greatest strategies that we forget to simply execute. And for most of you guys, it's not that you need a live stream strategy, although I'm going to give you one. You guys simply need to do it. So, live stream is one of those things. If you keep listening to different strategies, okay, do this, do that, broadcast this time, broadcast that time, it's a lot of great stuff out there, which is wonderful. However, you will never know what works for your audience, which is actually the most important thing, if you don't go live. So, I'm going to use our masterclass to teach you guys the actual broadcast script and go over 5 you guys spheres. But for the most part, this month is all about showing up for your brand. So before we even get started, how many of you guys did a broadcast today? Okay, Kay's going live again tonight. Awesome. Okay. Okay, and stories don't count. So for this challenge, we're not doing Instagram stories or Facebook stories. We're not doing Instagram videos or Facebook videos. It has to be a live audio also does not count. It has to be a live broadcast. AKA, you got to get on, show your face, and talk to your people. You guys have got to stop hiding. So for this challenge to count, it has to be you actually going on. It does not have to necessarily be a face broadcast, but for this challenge, stories don't count. Videos don't count. Anything that is pre-recorded does not count. And live audio does not count. Those are ways to build your brand, but for this challenge, those are cop-outs. So when we say go live, live is exactly that. It is a live broadcast. Okay? So don't think y'all slick with it. We're not doing that. We have challenges before that we've done the stories and we've done the videos, and that exactly live is live. And if you guys don't get out of your own way, you're never going to succeed. Okay. So before we even go in, if you guys check out the stats, you will notice that the trend for live stream in about the next 2 or 3 years, about 85 to 90% of content is going to be live video. If you guys notice what kind of stories or kind of videos you guys see in your timelines, if you notice when you guys have different videos, different ads, you're noticing that a lot more of them are actually some type of person. We're getting to a point that most of the industries are considered to be very saturated, and what people are actually connecting to is the people. So if you're hiding behind your brand, hiding behind your shoes, hiding behind your logos, hiding behind your stories, hiding behind your audio, it's time to let that go. Live is just that. It's live. Okay. So let me find my screen for our broadcast. All right. So again, like I said, this challenge is going to be, and if y'all are used to me, it's going to be more of a kick in the behind. Stop overthinking the process and simply do it. There is no way to get better if you don't practice. You can't practice if you don't do it. So I'm going to go over the script you guys can use for it. In your workbook, there are a couple of different ideas about Instagram. And this challenge is actually going to be for Instagram, Periscope, and Facebook. Although your workbook is a little bit biased and it tends to go toward Instagram, what counts for live is all the platforms. All right. So live stream is an amazing way to grow your audience, learn what type of content to create, and to increase your sales. So one of the best things I learned to do for my business was to show it for my people. So if you guys are ever wondering, well, hey, CC's always coming out with more content. The reason I'm always coming out with content and I'm confident in my content is because I listen to my people. So anytime I go live, I normally have a paper full of notes about questions people have asked, about things I can do for my business, and about ways I can connect to my audience. So I'm very confident in my brand simply because I am in front of my brand and I am in front of my people. So if someone is telling you exactly what they're willing to buy, you be a little bit silly if you don't go make that product. So for you guys who are interested in doing courses, doing webinars, doing workshops, doing ebooks, basically any type of digital content, the content itself is going to probably come from your live stream. You should not make anything that your people are not asking for, okay? So for you guys who say, you know, I'm so scared that I'm going to do this challenge for 30 days and I don't know what to talk about. You're doing this backwards. You are not supposed to know everything you want to talk about before you start broadcasting. That is the reason you are broadcasting. Broadcasting is the way to build your connection to your people. So if you go in and you go, okay, I got 30 things I'm talking about for the next 30 days. Well, if you have not spoken to your people yet, you have no idea if they're going to be receptive to those 30 things. So before you get all up in your feelings about it, you should not have 30 different topics right now to talk about with your audience. That's okay. Because what you're doing here is actually building your people. Now, if you guys have been going live before and are getting back to it, that's a little bit different. But for my brand new people, you should not have 30 days of content. And that's okay. Because what you're going to learn over the next 30 days, what you may think your audience wants and what they actually want to receive from you may be totally different. So you should have something to get started, such as telling them who you are, what you do, and why you're doing your business. So let your people get to know you. And yes, it may seem a little bit vain or a little bit self-centered, but keep in mind, these people are already following you. And by nature, as humans, we are nosy people. So yes, we want to know about you as a person, not just in regards to your business. So why did you decide that you were going to start your business? What struggles have you faced as an entrepreneur? Are you still working full-time in transition to entrepreneurship? Are you going to be a serial entrepreneur? Are you still working a full-time job and just want to do your stuff on the side? All those things make up your brand, make up how you communicate with your audience, and it makes up your connection. So again, you should not know everything right now. Simply get on and talk about yourself. And another thing with that, you guys have got to be willing to be bold in your business. As we say, closed mouths don't get fed. So if you're never willing to talk about your business, you're being selfish because someone needs to hear what you have to say. And you can't expect to make sales if you never say anything about the products that you offer. So that's kind of on you. All right. Your content is going to flow with your audience's needs and wants. So you just simply have to get started with the conversation. Like I said, kick it off with maybe 2 or 3 broadcasts. And keep in mind, for this month, we're going live every single day. So make sure you guys have printed out your notebook, printed out your information, and you guys are going to be filling out your content every single day. So there's no reason not to be prepared. There's no reason to not know what to say. There's no reason not to say, hey, I forgot about it. No, every day in November, you're going live. All right. And this is another very important point. Do not force your audience. So I know I have a pretty decent sized following on Periscope, but I no longer use Periscope. Me and Facebook don't get along quite as heavy, but Instagram is back. Most of my people are on Instagram, so my preferred platform to broadcast on is Instagram. Some people prefer Facebook, use Periscope, That's fine. Do not force your audience to come to where you are, go to where they are. So if you are on Instagram, like, hey, I'm going to do Facebook Live broadcast. If your audience is not on Facebook, you shouldn't be broadcasting on Facebook. You cannot force people to come over where you are. And for most of you guys, this is another important step. Do not worry about dual broadcasting. Do not worry about triple broadcasting. That is not something you should worry about right now. And one of the things that kind of throws people off with your double broadcast, if you're not accustomed to looking at the screen or at your camera, you're going to look very much crazy. So if you guys have not been broadcasting at least a month or so, I don't want you to be trying to be doing 85 different broadcasts at one time. That's not a good experience for you or a good experience for your audience. So, and just being for real, best use of time. If you know you only have 4 or 5 people on Instagram, but you have a really good audience on Facebook, focus on Facebook. Don't try to get those 3 or 4 people on Instagram over to your Facebook. So Instagram broadcasting would not fit you. Do not force it. Go where your people are, okay? Oh, another point there. A lot of people ask, like, hey, what can I use to be able to broadcast on all the platforms? If you have noticed, the platforms do not make it easy for you to basically interact. And that's for a reason. If you are on Facebook, focus on Facebook. If you're on Instagram, focus on Instagram. If you're on Periscope, focus on Periscope. So they're not making it easy for you to do these broadcasts all at the same time because they're stingy. And as much as I love Instagram, they is very much stingy. They want you to know where you are is where you're trying to focus your efforts. Now, Facebook and Instagram do play together a little bit better, but for the most part, you should not worry about it. If you want to, I do Facebook Live from my computer, and I broadcast on Instagram from my iPad. So that's okay. But if you think about it, for most of you guys, you're not very active on both platforms. So whatever platform you receive the most interaction, focus on mastering that platform first and then build out. So if you have not been broadcasting a few months now, you should not be trying to do a broadcast. And just because I know a lot of you guys see different broadcasters doing that, I personally think that's a bad idea because you cannot do something well if you don't have the foundation down. So if you're not a good broadcaster yet, you should not be trying to be putting yourself in front of everybody. Get really good on one platform and then branch out, okay? Your broadcast script. Live broadcasts are not very complicated. It's simply going through, delivering your content, wrapping up, recapping, and going on. So before you guys do anything, if you are a new broadcaster, for the first 4 or 5 broadcasts, you probably will not have a very large audience, and that's okay. People are not accustomed to you broadcasting currently, so you have to build them up. To help you build them up, I want you guys to create 4 graphics in Canva. The first graphic, and these are going to be something you're going to reuse. So the first graphic is going to be, hey, I'm going live at whatever your time is, and do not forget to put your time zone. A lot of people will not be in your same time zone. For example, most of my followers are either in PST or EST. I'm in CST. So I'm either an hour behind or 2 hours ahead. I also have been picking up a lot of international clients. So my 8 o'clock in the morning for some of them is like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. My evening times are in the middle of the night. So make sure when you are putting up your times, put up your time zone so people can make the right adjustments. Tell them what you're going to talk about. So don't assume just because you have decided you want to start going live that your audience knows, hey, I'm going to hop on there. You have not built that trust there yet, so they have no idea what kind of content you're going to deliver. Tell them what you're going to talk about and go ahead and give them a call to action to start the conversation. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop those below. This is something you're going to put up before you do your broadcast. So this, for you guys who are starting tomorrow, this should go up either, depending on what time you're broadcasting, this should go up tonight or in the morning. If you're on Facebook, you can normally notify them about 24 hours in advance. Instagram does pretty well with a few hours heads up. You should also have a live now. So what you want to do and making sure your page is not getting crowded or cluttered, if you guys are broadcasting on Instagram, when you do your I'm going live at, that's going to be your first post about your live broadcast. These graphics do not replace your normal post. So if you normally post 2 or 3 times per day, you're going to have an extra 4 things you're going to put up in addition to those. So if you post 2 to 3 times a day normally, you're going to now be posting about 7 times, and that's okay. Because what you're going to do, the first one goes up. So this one goes up a few hours or the night before your broadcast. When you actually go live, this one is going to replace this one. So once you do these, they're going to be deleted. So once that time comes up, let people know probably about 5 to 10 minutes beforehand, hey, I'm live now. And like I said, I use Instagram for the example. So let them know that you're currently live and tell them how to access it. So if you're on Facebook, it'll normally show up in their timeline. If you're on Instagram, Instagram notifications are not the best. So tell them, hey, go click on the photo in my bio to watch my live broadcast. Do not forget that everyone does not use the platform the same way, so they may not be aware of all of the features. Once your broadcast is completed, you're going to take this one down and put this one up. So, hey, if you missed us, we talked about XYZ, and the replay is going to be in my bio for the next 24 hours. About an hour or so before it disappears, let them know again. So this one is going to replace this one. Hey, if you missed this in the last 23 hours, this broadcast is going to be coming down in the next hour or so. Make sure you go watch it. Do not be afraid to drive traffic to your broadcast. Again, everyone will not be in the same time zone. Everyone will not be in the same, we have different things going on. So if you're someone, or if your ideal client is on Instagram in the evening, that's completely okay if you broadcast in the morning. So let them know that the replay is available so they can still go in and watch you. The cool thing about Instagram and about Facebook is they can still respond to your replays. So on Instagram, they'll come to you as direct messages. And if you're on Facebook, they'll show up in the timeline. All those are okay. So you should have 4 every time you go in. And what you guys can also do is make this a template inside of Canva. So, hey, I'm going live is your first one. When you actually go live, this is your second one. Once you finish up your broadcast, did you miss it? And then before the broadcast goes away. So these 4 should be posted every single day. And what that's going to do is help your audience become conditioned to, if they miss you live, hey, I know the broadcast is available for a certain amount of time. Okay? Any questions there? Awesome. All right. So before you go into your broadcast, now, just because you are not broadcasting on those platforms does not mean you can't tell people who are on those platforms that you're going live. So what I sometimes do, if I'm going live on Instagram, I'll put it up in the Six Figure Army or on my Facebook page that I'm going live on Instagram at XYZ time. And you can actually use the same templates you use here. Yeah, so if you want to use these graphics across your different platforms, that's completely okay. You can definitely move people from platform to platform, but still go where they are the most active. Is Facebook or Instagram a better platform to start going live on? There really isn't a better platform to start going live on specifically. It's depending on where your audience is. So if your audience is more interactive on Facebook, go live on Facebook. If you have more interaction on Instagram, go live on Instagram. So the best platform is going to be where your clients are. All right. So before you do your broadcast, again, do your notification of your platforms. Do your Instagram post with your title and the time of the broadcast, which should be done. And then you want to make sure that when you're going live, that you have cleaned up your background. When I first started teaching about live stream, I thought that was kind of common sense, but it's not. So I know for me personally, I broadcast in my office. So most of you guys are going to be using either your phone or a tablet. Before you go live, do a test run of your background. So if you have anything hinky happening in the background, such as laundry, clothes, kids, things like that, go ahead and try to minimize those as much as possible. One of the things I hate to see, because like my desk is a mess right now, but my audience is not going to see that. So I know exactly how to angle my computer or angle my iPad so that you guys have the same type of background. So if you guys have your own office, if you want to broadcast from a corner, go ahead and be consistent with that. But because this is still you being professional, I want you to come as you are, but don't come amiss. So make sure you guys are preparing appropriately. Always make sure, if you can do some type of white background, that's awesome. The best thing really is just to find your best lighting. And honestly, for you guys, if you have a nice bathroom, bathrooms have some of the best acoustics. I don't know why. Well, you know how we think we're divas in the shower, and you notice when you're singing in the shower, everybody sounds good in the shower. That's because most bathrooms have a really good, whatever reason, have really good acoustics. So what you could do, and this is what I used to do, when I used to be my little girl on YouTube or whatever, you can always get you a really nice shower curtain and get you a chair that sits in your bathroom and set up on your counter. So it does not have to be, like y'all said, y'all overthink it. It does not have to be complicated. So like I know my first, when I was doing my natural hair journey on YouTube, all my bathrooms were shot, all my videos were shot in my bathroom. And this is, I had some of the worst Wi-Fi, I had a junky phone, so I used what I had. So don't think you got to go out here and get all these diva lights and these tripod stands. No, use what you have. And most people lock their bathrooms. So if you have a clean bathroom, get you a nice shower curtain, put that up real quick, stretch it out if you need to, tack it to the wall, do your broadcast, and move forward. It does not have to be complicated. Okay? So arrange your background and please choose a title. So if you guys are going live on Facebook, you're going to type your title in, kind of how it is here, and put it as your caption. If you're on Instagram, the way I do my stuff for Instagram is I use my iPad to broadcast. So I will type in the title of my broadcast and my notes, and then copy and paste it to my Instagram broadcast. For you guys who are going to be using Instagram, to pin your Instagram title. When your broadcast starts, go ahead and paste your title as a comment. Once it shows up, like moving up the screen, tap on it, and it's going to say pin comment. When you tap on pin comment, it's going to make it stay. Same thing with this one. If you're on Facebook, how you can pin comments from your people, it's the same process. And if you're doing any type of Q&A sessions in the future, you can also tap on the questions as they come up and pin those too, so people know exactly what you're answering. Okay? Before you start your once you actually start your broadcast, Instagram right now does not have the share capability. Hopefully they'll be adding that soon because I can't wait. But for right now, Facebook and Periscope do both have the share capability. So you let your audience help you grow your platform. If you don't tell them to share though, most people will not. So when you start your broadcast on Facebook or Periscope, hey guys, if you are enjoying the content, please make sure you're trying to help somebody else out. Tap on and tell them how to share. So I know when I was on Periscope, it was swipe to the left or swipe to the right, I think, and then swipe up to share. You can on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and that worked well. If you're on Facebook, just simply tap on the share button at the top of the broadcast. But if you do not tell people what to do, you cannot get upset if they do not do it. Okay? What I do is most of my broadcasts start on a dark screen, and it's really, again, really basic. I broadcast from my iPad, so I have it on my iPad screen. Honestly, if y'all like just being real deal with it, if you need to, just simply flip your camera and put your finger over the camera hole. So it'll just be dark until you're ready to start. The reason I do that is because I'm not a big fan of small talk. So I don't want to be on the screen awkward for 4 or 5 minutes as I wait for you guys to get into the broadcast. So for me, it's become one of my signatures. All of my broadcasts start on a dark screen, and when I'm ready to actually start my broadcast, it flips the camera. So it's kind of how you want to set your broadcast up. All right. Doing your live. So if you guys have a topic that you cannot talk about by yourself for at least 10 minutes, it's probably not a good topic. Ideally, we're going to have some type of interaction on our broadcast, which is going to lengthen that time, and that's what we want. But if you don't have any interaction, or for you guys who are brand new, if you don't have anyone on your broadcast yet, you still need to get in the habit of doing the broadcast. So if it's something you can't talk about for at least 10 minutes, it's not a good subject. And what you guys can do, don't wait to get on live and then want to try to find your way. Don't do that. There's nothing wrong with trying out your camera. There's nothing wrong with doing some trial broadcast to yourself. If you need to talk to yourself, that's okay. That's going to help you find your voice, help you find your cadence, help you find, if you're someone like me, I talk with my hands, so I become more aware of how I speak as I'm doing my broadcast. So if you're not sure about that, or if you're kind of nervous about doing it at first, go ahead and simply set up in your room and do some broadcasts to yourself. That's going to make you more comfortable. And when you're ready to finally deliver your content, it won't be the first time. And that's what makes a lot of you guys scared about it, is that when you are delivering your content, it's going to be your first time you talk about it. Well, as we know, when we're telling stories or relating something, we don't always remember it the same way. So if you run through it a couple times, you'll be way more comfortable when you actually start talking to other people about it. All right? The actual broadcast. So when you go live, most people are not going to hop on immediately. That takes a little bit of time to build up, so don't expect it. It normally takes most people about 2 to maybe about 5 minutes to get onto a broadcast. And that's because when you go live, some people are driving, some people are at the gym, they're at the doctor's office, they're at home, they have to put the kids down. So most people can't just literally drop everything they're doing and get onto your broadcast. That's not going to work. So give them about the first, it says 0 to 60, but you really want to do about the first 5 minutes. So that's when notifications start going off. And like I said, Instagram is not loyal with notifications at all. So make sure when you go live, you put your post up. All right. So minutes 1 through 5, you're going to be taking time to greet your viewers as you're coming into the broadcast. If you know their names, go ahead and say hello. Ask them how their day is going. Carry on little conversations. That just lets people know, hey, we're going to be getting started soon. But you want to make sure, one, you want to have a pretty decent sized room, but you also don't want to have to continuously repeat yourself because people come in late. So somewhere around 5 or so minutes should be enough time to get on, and that's going to be the bulk of your people. Also, if you guys have ever noticed, when you finish up a broadcast, most people are not going to stay the entire time. Going live is an investment on your part, but it's also an investment on their part. So you may notice that you have 30 people that stay the entire time, but when you finish up your broadcast, you had 100. Most people do not stay for the entire broadcast, and that's okay. So the first couple of minutes, you're going to be setting your expectations. And if you guys are on Instagram Live replays are still relatively new. So let people know if they are on the replay. If they want to ask you questions, they can still send questions as comments, and those will show up in your DM. So it doesn't matter if you're live or on a replay, they can still interact with you. All right. Around minute 5 is when you're going to go into your actual broadcast. So you're going to introduce yourself, your business, your purpose, and the topic for the day. That's when a lot of people are going to decide if they're going to stick around. So, hey, I'm Cece. Today we're going to be talking about XYZ, and we go into the content. So make sure, because you guys are going to be writing out your script every day, you should have your title and have your points. Your introduction should always connect to your audience, and you want to give your tagline or your trade phrase. So how many of you guys have like an elevator pitch? Which is basically, hey, I'm XYZ, I do this, and this is why. None of y'all have an elevator pitch? Or a tagline is basically the same. It's something you're going to start associating people with your brand, and you want to say it at the beginning of every broadcast. Okay. So if you don't, this is how to set up your tagline. So your tagline should be short and to the point. Basically, it's, hey, I'm XYZ, and I help who you help with what you do. It's a great way to tell your audience, basically, why are they going to be watching your broadcast. So I have a couple different ones, but these are my favorite. My first one is, hey, I'm Cece the Six Figure Chick on Instagram, and I help entrepreneurs build communities around their content to collect their coins. So my 3 main things are community, content, and catching your money. My second one is, hey, I'm Cece the Six Figure Chick, and I'm a digital branding and social media strategist. I help creative entrepreneurs get over their fears of live streaming, help them to monetize their minds, and help them to build amazing platforms. I normally I do this through ebooks, webinars, workshops, consults, and things like that. So it tells people who you are, and when it's one of my longer pitches, it tells you, okay, cool, if she does all this stuff, how exactly can I get help from her? So I have my workbooks, I have my ebooks, I have my webinars, my workshops, and 9 times out of 10, I have at least one person on each broadcast. Hey, Cece, do you do coaching? How can I get a consult with you? Or what are your products? So that kind of helps me at the beginning. And most people will do my calls to action. Well, hey, if you have any questions about my products, go ahead and tap on my photo and go click the link in my bio. All of my products are listed there. So you want to make sure that you are making an immediate connection. So you know, okay, why in the world am I even getting on this person's broadcast to see what they're talking about? All right. Seven to 20 is going to be your sweet spot. And this is where, I'm going to say, if you have content, you should be able to do a 20-minute broadcast with no problem, because you're only going to be delivering about 10 minutes. So between minute 7 and minute 20, you're going to actually deliver your content. So this is where on your worksheet, you'll have those 3 to 5 key points. This is where those key points come in. Now, do not try to write out your broadcast word for word. That is not going to work, because you don't want to get on and be reading. Your worksheets are meant to be key points. So you have a reference point, but it's not meant to give you a script. So make sure you're kind of referring back to that so you don't get lost, or you can come back, but it should not be written word for word. So make notes for your broadcast so you can refer to them, and they'll help keep you on topic. But don't be afraid to answer questions. And please, 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 please do not be afraid to engage. That is what your broadcast is for. You want your audience to talk to you. So if they're asking questions and you're so afraid that you're going to lose your place in your script that you ignore them, that's going to be a bad broadcast, and people probably will not come back. So I know, and this is why my broadcast is going to be an hour, I talk about some of everything. So whether it's talking about my daughter, talking about technology, talking about journals, my husband, business stuff, we talk about a lot of content. But because I write a script out for everything, I don't mind doing little segues every now and again because I can always come back to my main point. And this is also going to make it easier at the end when you're ready to recap, because everyone will not start the broadcast at the same point. Okay. And then after minute 20, if you have survived, you can get ready to recap. So you're going to go back over, hey, so if you guys missed the beginning, we talked about these top key points. And this is where you're going to start getting people to do the replay. So if you came in and missed the beginning of it, these are the key points, but you can always go back and watch the broadcast. And most importantly, tell your audience what to do next. This is probably why I'm a really good business owner. I've learned I'm a Virgo and I'm the oldest child, and I'm a little bit bossy. So I want to make sure there's no confusion, that we don't have no misinterpretations. I know exactly what I want you guys to do next. So if I want you to go look at my bio, if I want you to go sign up for a class or go sign up for a book, I'm going to tell you, hey, when the broadcast wraps up, go ahead and go over to the link in my bio. Go ahead and go to my website. Go ahead and send me an email, send me a DM. Tell them exactly what to do. Keep in mind that your audience is going to be bombarded every single day with options. I don't like making a lot of decisions. Tell me what to do, and I'm a good instruction follower. So tell me what I should be doing, and I will go do that thing. Don't leave it up to like, hey, they're going to automatically know. No, they're not. Okay? After you finish your live broadcast, share the replay with your audiences and recap your top points. So this is going to go back to those ones we talked about on Canva. So when you are done with your broadcast, go take down your live now. Put up, hey, here is the recap of what we talked about today. Go check it out and tell them how to check it out. And then once the replay expires, this is something to keep in mind for Instagram. The rest of them are pretty good. To save your Instagram lives. Again, Instagram is bae, but she is a very tricky creature. So if you guys are trying to save your Instagram lives, before you share the broadcast, look in your upper right-hand corner. It's going to have a little download icon that says save. Go ahead and tap on that. Wait till it finishes and pops up the little black bar in the middle that says save, and then share your broadcast. If you share the broadcast before you save it, you cannot go back and save it. So before you share your broadcast on Instagram, make sure you guys save it, okay? Otherwise, you're going to be doing some type of screen recording and watching yourself all over again. And trust me, that gets very irritating. If you're on Facebook Live, they will automatically save and they'll remain until you take them down. On Periscope, you have the option of 24 hours, or you can set it to not expire. Instagram is the only one that requires you to save it. Like it doesn't save automatically to your phone. So if you do not download your broadcast from Instagram before you share it, it is not going to save. With Instagram, and that's another point to mind. So when your broadcast is done on Instagram, you have to share it to your story. So if you look on Instagram, once your broadcast is done, you will have the viewers in the middle. You'll have the download button in the upper right-hand corner, and there's going to be a toggle switch at the very bottom. If you do not actually push that over to the green and where it says share, it's not going to share. So for Periscope, it saves them automatically. So does Facebook, but Instagram does require a few extra steps. So make sure, one, you save it. Once you save it, hit the little toggle switch and you can share it out. And once they're shared to your story, you'll get the little play icon below your photo. and those will be up there for 24 hours. Okay? Any questions before we go into the fears? So to get into the group, I asked you guys what were your biggest fears about live streaming. And the funny thing is, most of you guys have pretty much the same fears. And most of these fears are pretty much unfounded. So let's go ahead and squash them. Fear number one is about being consistent. The only way to get over the fear of being consistent is to be consistent. And for some of you guys who are worried that you're not going to broadcast at the same exact time, being consistent does not mean being the exact same all the time. Being consistent simply means showing up. So if you're getting to know your audience, you're not going to broadcast at the same exact time. Like normally, I'm a morning broadcaster. Some days I broadcast at 8, some days I broadcast at 9, some days 11:37. So I broadcast in the mornings based on my schedule. Some days I broadcast in the evenings. And we're doing a broadcast with my husband, that tends to be a 6:30, 7 o'clock, or 8 o'clock broadcast. If I'm having a night that I'm kind of up a little bit later, I may do a broadcast then. I'm consistent in the fact that I show up every day, but I'm not married to a certain time. So if you guys are like, okay, I can't go on the same time every day, that's completely and solely okay. You just need to make sure you are actually showing up. And it is a good idea to vary the times you're going on, because I know my ideal client is a transitioning 9-to-5er. And even though they will watch my replays, some of them would love to catch me live. So if I do a later broadcast because they're at work all day, that still gives me an opportunity to hit a different part of my audience, and it still lets me grow. So don't get stuck. Okay, if I say I'm going to go live at 8 o'clock, you're not a TV show. You don't have to go live at the same exact time every single day. Okay? Number 2, the easiest fix. A lot of you guys say, I'm so afraid I'm going to forget what I'm going to talk about. Why would you if you're writing out your notes? So as long as you're writing out your 3 to 5 points, you have something to refer back to. So there's no reason that you should be forgetting your topics. And you don't have to, this is something that I want you guys to avoid. If you guys have ever had an issue with clickbait, clickbait is basically saying you're going to talk about one thing to get people to come into your broadcast and talk about something totally different. Now, personally, I am the queen of going off on tangents. And I'm okay with that, because normally it depends on what my audience is saying. So if I get on and I have my idea already, but you guys ask a totally different question, I don't mind doing something different on the spot. So having your topics is sometimes a really good thing, but again, you are not married to it. So if you have someone who asks a different question and you notice that your audience is very interested in it, go ahead and go with that. You can always say that other broadcast or something else. Always listen to your audience, okay? Number 3 is the content. A lot of you guys are in this beautiful catch-22. You guys are afraid to go live because you don't know what to talk about, but you don't know what to talk about because you're not going live. Content is going to come to you. If you are talking to your audience, once you show them that you are open and receptive, you will be so amazed at what people will tell you. So make sure you're not, all you need to do is get the conversation started. Begin, and I promise you, they're going to fill in anything that you probably never would have thought of. And the cool thing about our audiences is, if you've been doing something for a while, sometimes we forget the beginning. And once something becomes second nature, becomes habit to you, you forget, okay, I didn't always know this. or I haven't always done it this way. So your audience lets you see your business from different points. So I know when I teach, I'm teaching to 3 people. I'm teaching to who I was, to who I am, and to who I'm going to be. So I know based on how I teach, some people are where I am now. Some people are trying to get to where I am, and some people are trying to go above where I am. And each one of those people is going to be looking for something slightly different. So like when it comes down to teaching things, one of the best compliments that I get from my people is that I break things down in a way that makes sense. Well, I don't have a choice about that because I am self-taught. So I did not learn the tech jargon. I didn't learn through textbooks. I learned through doing. So a lot of things that people explain or who are marketers, they use all that wonderful tech jargon, and I don't use it because I didn't learn it that way. So I'm able to take what I know and put it into a way that's easy to understand and it's easy to execute. So if you feel like you're talking to somebody or watching somebody that you have to go pull out a textbook or a dictionary for, you're not going to be interested in what they're saying because they're going to make your head hurt. So make sure you are meeting your client where they are and trying to get them to where they're trying to go. Next up is going to be appearance. This comes from most of my female clients. I think most of you guys are females in this challenge. And it probably comes from everyone believes that Instagram is such a visual platform. And people have all these great filters and editors and these style lifestyles that simply is not so. I can't tell you guys how to feel about yourself. And I can't tell you that you are fine the way you are if you don't believe it. So I got this as appearance. About 6 of you guys said you were afraid of how you looked on camera. People don't care. And I don't mean as in just hop on any old way, but if you are putting your best face forward, like don't get on in your PJs and, well, actually, because I've seen some good broadcasts. If you guys think about Tammy Roman does the Bonnet Chronicles. I think Maya Ellis used to do her robe scopes. So it's all about being who you are. Get up, wash your face, wash your behind, and put some nice clothes on, moisturize, and get on live. It does not require you to get ready to go to the prom or to a wedding to be able to get on live. So it goes further than simply saying, hey, I don't like how I look. Now, that's going to come down to something that is more self-esteem based. And honestly, it's why a lot of you guys hide. So you can take this as an opportunity to simply accept yourself as you are. And if you don't like something about how you look, you're not a tree. Move. Do something about it. And that's completely okay. But most people are not picking apart your appearance as much as you are. So that's something you need to meditate over, pray over, and come to terms with. But when it comes to appearance, people are not, they don't care as much because a lot of folks have their own insecurities and they're so worried about what they look like. They probably don't care what you look like. Just saying. Next up is a very valid fear, and it is the fear of not being valuable. And this one was also a biggie. You have to keep in mind that the people who are following you have already said, hey, I'm interested in what you do. I like your stuff. I want to know more. So as long as you are trying to put out something that is valuable, as long as you are trying to do something that is going to be content-based and relevant to your brand, it's going to be valuable. A lot of you guys are seeking acknowledgement or approval, and you don't need it. So I think one of the things I love about doing different types of live challenges is what holds us back for the most part isn't our content, it's us. So if you are giving yourself all these reasons that you're not going to be successful, you've already sealed the deal. So if you want to use the next 30 days to get comfortable, but go ahead and face those fears because y'all, live stream is not going anywhere. So it's so much better to get ahead of it and go ahead and adopt to it early than be a late one. So I don't want to wait in 2 years and everybody's all of a sudden getting on live stream and then you have to fight for a foothold. Go ahead and use it now. Get to use it now. Make it valuable while it's still free and make it do what it do. So if you have these fears, I believe that everybody's fears are valid, but they come down to, are you going to let these things hold you back? Or are you going to face them and make your money? Simple as that. All right. So, questions. I'm back to this time. What's wrong with MailChimp? Uh-oh. Okay. And we're gonna probably be doing for y'all to not that challenge. I think Nick's gonna doing not live stream, I'm doing an email list. I prefer ConvertKit because it just has so many more features. And I'm not against the monkey, but me and programs that have monkeys just ain't worked out too tough. So I think if you guys are going to be offering different incentives or different lead magnets or have different parts of your audience, to me, ConvertKit makes that so much easier to set up. I think I'm probably gonna actually do that as one of my broadcasts because I like to think I don't pay for a lot of tools in my business. And what a lot of people do that I've noticed lately, you have to always consider when someone is giving you advice about what tools to use in your business, consider how long they've been in business. So tools that you may use in year 1 won't be the same tools in year 2. Tools you may use in year 3 won't be the same tools in year 4. Like I'm going to year 5 and what I need now, I would not have been able to afford in year 1. So when you're asking someone what kind of tools do they need, make sure you understand where they are in business. So I'll try to break that down for you guys on my live stream tomorrow about what I used when I started and what I'm using now. Because I know personally I have wasted a lot of money trying to use tools too early and not having time either to use them or make them talk to my other integrations, and it was a headache and a half. So what I use right now, I would not have used last year. So I'll break that down for you guys tomorrow. But if you have to absolutely have something for your business, mandatory is going to be a website and your mailing list and some type of payment or shopping cart that's going to give you your stats. So for websites, I use Squarespace, love them. For my mailing list, I use ConvertKit. And I use Samcart for my shopping cart. And I think those are like my must-haves. And of course, Canva. Canva is better to go ahead and pay for it annually if you can, because it's something I use every single day. I think that's about it. And Google, but Google doesn't really count. Google's like $5 a month. So starting out, you need emails, you need a website because those are the only things that you own. You need a way to display your products and get paid for them. And you need to understand the stats behind it so you know where to tweak them. And you need a way to actually get your stuff out there. So like for lead magnets and stuff of that nature, I use Canva. I should make that my next freebie class. All right. Yes, a website, mailing list, and a way to get paid. That'll get you started. MailChimp has normally been said to be an easier platform to get started on, but what I did not like about MailChimp is that you end up paying for people more than one time. And for someone like me, that gets very expensive because Good question. Kay, how many people are currently on your mailing list? And when you guys are trying to determine a good mailing list provider, your people also make a good deal. So if you have under, let's see, I want to say it's like under 200 people, I would say possibly try out MailerLite instead of MailChimp. Everything up to, well, because I use ConvertKit, and ConvertKit it's $30 for your first 1,000 subscribers. I think they cost me right now about $180 a month. I've got about 18,000 people. So I believe in people on your mailing list paying for itself. So you have a tool that does not pay for itself, it's not a good tool. I know I'm switching over to ClickFunnels to try some different things out, but I tried ClickFunnels earlier this year or early last year, and it was not a good fit for me. So I'll actually tell you guys the different things I wasted money on because I tried to use them too soon and they simply did not fit in my business. And we have shiny object syndrome sometimes, and we see other people using it and it doesn't really fit where we are. So if you guys are just getting, I believe ConvertKit is worth the $30. But I send out a lot of emails. So for me, it's worth it. But if you are not committed to email list building, which you should be, but if you're not committed to it, it's going to be a drain. Like I said, I know ConvertKit, it pays for itself every month. So like the tools I have right now, I have Squarespace, which I pay for annually. I have Samcart, which is $97 a month. I'm going to ClickFunnels, which is also $97 a month. My Canvas paid for annually. I have Webinar Jam for my webinars, and that's $397 a year. I think those are my names. So I think, I did a new budget. I want to keep all of my tools around 1,000 to 1,500. So we'll see how that works out. All right. So, do you guys have any final questions about the live streaming? You're welcome. I have 2 mics. I don't use them. What do you need a mic for? I just dropped a cookie. If you're just getting started, you don't really need a mic. Why are my comments not showing up? Yeah, see, some of y'all are trying to do too much. If you are broadcasting, you need a device that has a camera, you need an internet connection, and that's pretty much it. Your phone or your tablet or your computer is going to pick up your sound. And if you have not monetized your live stream yet, mics and cameras and things like that, they're not needed. How do we get our ideal audience to our live stream? Getting your ideal audience to your live stream is going to be based on your content. So again, like I told you guys, if you're thinking too far ahead, if you are just now starting your live stream, your job right now is to listen to your people. All right, guys, so we're going to wrap up here. I'm going to put up a thread inside the group, and you guys can actually put in your broadcast there or let us know when you've gone live. So this month, again, you don't need a lot of strategies. You don't need to overthink it. You simply need to show up. So the daily broadcast or the threads will be probably Monday through Friday. I'm not online on the weekends as much, so I probably won't do one on Saturdays and Sundays. But you guys are welcome to post inside the group. You're welcome to ask any kind of questions if you want to. And you guys can tell us when you're going live and drop your links. So you guys are more than welcome to support each other and show up and give questions. But one of the things I do not tell you guys to do is go follow everybody who has a broadcast, simply because everyone does not need what you offer. So when you see like, hey, we all go follow each other, you don't want vanity followings. So we're not concerned about having the most numbers. We're concerned about having the right numbers. So I don't tell you guys, hey, go follow everybody on the same thread. I don't know what you're offering. I don't know who you're offering it for. So I can't say, hey, we all do the same thing. That's not a good way to get your right client or to make your right sales. You don't want everybody following you, okay? So on that note, guys, I'm going to wrap up here. I'm probably going live on Instagram a little bit later, so you guys can hop on for that. And I would definitely do the broadcast on how to know what you need in your business and when. All right. So this will be on replay at the top of our group. You can go back and watch it and leave questions. And I will see you guys later. Have a good night.